All right, so we are recording now. Hi, Zach and Aurora. Thanks you guys for joining us. And like I said, the purpose, we're just getting on here because one of the real missions of real producers is to deepen the connections between top performing real estate agents here in the area and top affiliate industries. And particularly in our platform, one of the ways we do that is by real emphasizing the behind the scenes human level of our business owners. And so actually it's been kind of nice in this shelter in place and pandemic season, though things are really unique and there's a lot of challenges. That's actually what we do best, is kind of see behind the scenes and talk to people about their real lives and businesses. And so I've just invited you on here to talk about the way that this has created kind of a unique shift in your personal lives and businesses, and let us in a little bit on that and hopefully create some content that is helpful for your clients and spheres of influence. So that's what we're doing. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
So let's just start with introductions. Zach, we can start with you, but why don't you just introduce yourself, share what you do, who you do it for, how long you've done it, and we'll go from there.
Okay. My name is Zach Bacon, and I run the Quantum Real Estate office here in Rockland. I've been in the industry between mortgage, real estate, and construction for about 20 years, full-time in real estate for 13, and it's been fun. I enjoy it. Mentor new agents, I do some coaching as well, and it's really been a privilege to build a business in the local area, support our community. I'd say most of my business is North Sacramento County and South Placer County, but we do conduct business for buyers and sellers all over the greater Sacramento area. So having lived here close to my whole life, pretty familiar with the area, and it's nice to support and be involved in the local community. So that's it.
I'm Aurora, Aurora Mullett. I run Intrinsic Insurance Services. Also been in the insurance industry for just a little over 20 years. So I've done all kinds of insurance portions, claims management, underwriting, and then sales. So our agency serves 10 states, including California, but our primary focus is on what is called the high fire insurance, the hard to place risks, so older homes, mountain homes, plumbing challenged homes, everything that everybody else doesn't like to do, we've kind of filled in that niche. So we do a lot of mentoring for the agencies throughout California. We do a lot with the legislation. So we're on the front lines of how things are done there. So we do a lot of public advocacy, and I run a lot of groups and connect a lot of those political figures as well as different individuals through our grassroots movements to get this all corrected as soon as possible.
Cool. So I told you guys that I just wanted to start with some positivity. There's been a lot for everybody running businesses right now, every client. There's been a lot that we've had to shift since the shelter in place went into effect, best practices and whatnot, but I know that you guys are both still able to operate and making those shifts. So why don't you tell us one thing that you have actually been grateful for, that's been a positive thing that you've seen, whether it's in your business or your personal life, just something that you're grateful for in this time, and then something that's been a little bit more challenging that you've had to adapt and work with in this time for your business or personal life.
Well, I think one of the benefits has been forcing us to change up our daily habits and our strategies and just kind of shake things up. And, you know, as human beings, we get complacent and we get into habits and routines. So it's been a really great chance to kind of shake us out of that monotony and take a look at things and analyze what is really important and what's not, and how are we conducting business, what can we do better. So there's been a lot of benefit and a lot of fun on that side of it. Obviously the challenge has been just less volume. We're still seeing a lot of the same, we'll call it velocity. So real estate is still moving quickly. There's just less of it moving quickly. So the volume's definitely been down, and that's, when a large section of the business is basically taken out of play, it's less transactions. So that's been a little bit of a challenge, but overall, I think it's a great opportunity, and this is when new habits, new innovations, new ways of doing business are born, and this is going to set the stage for, really for a solid future business for those that want to take it seriously. So it's gonna be fun.
Right.
For us, I mean, for me, the positive thing that's come out of this is I started what is called virtual happy hours with the community. So clients, referral partners. So we do different like games, like every Thursday, it's Trivia Thursday. We just have like, social hour Saturday, things like that. So it's allowed me to just connect in a different way with all of those individuals that I'm either doing business with or referral partners, where everybody's having fun and connecting and kind of letting off steam. So that's been really fun to connect with people in that way. Zach said, I think the biggest challenge has been just that entire shift on how you do business, where you're doing your business, how to stay focused when the dryer goes off, or, the door, somebody knocks randomly on your door that normally you wouldn't be here. So all these distractions that happen, and people have a lot more time at home. So you're getting an influx of calls and questions that you normally wouldn't, because people are at work during the day, and emails are being taken up by phone calls. So there's been a definite shift on redistributing different tasks and being more proactive with our touch points on what's happening out there in the world in regards to insurance and business interruptions and things like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think I've been really kind of grateful for that behind the scenes look and humanizing element of everybody as we're Zooming in our own homes, and you get to see sweet pictures on the back of people's walls of, their real life and their real families. I have to tell you, Aurora, that I have been to one of Zach's trivia nights. He is a trivia master, put me to shame and made me look like I don't know anything, which is kind of true when it comes to trivia facts. But so you guys have that connection in common, which is kind of funny. Okay, so I'm going to turn it. Oh, sorry, you broke up. Say that.
I was just saying it's a lot of fun. Oh, yeah, I was just asking Zach. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I play trivia all the time, but to run it and kind of have that laughter and people like, are you for real? That's the question you're going to ask. Like, it's fun to have that interaction.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he had some pretty crazy questions that I'm like, I don't even really, like, how did you even know to ask that? So that's funny. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it over to you guys. I am the one who tells the real people stories, but I'm not an expert in either of your industries, and I like to let you guys kind of take the floor on that. So Zach, why don't you just go ahead and you can ask some questions that maybe your clients are asking you or realtors are asking about kind of the insurance industry, and let Aurora field those.
Awesome. So yeah, the first one, I think just for an ongoing customer service standpoint, and then potentially being able to refer business back and forth as we, as real estate professionals, are following up with our past clients, what would you say is, I guess, the best practice for them to check in with their insurance policy? How often do those need to be adjusted? Or they kind of just stay in place once it's set up, as long as they have the right coverage that can just exist on their home for years? Or should they really be checking in on that more frequently? And what do you suggest for them to make sure that they're getting proper coverage up front, and then also maintaining proper coverage throughout their time in their home, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that the people that end up going through what is called a captive agent, like a farmer's or a state farm, those individuals only have one choice within their offices. So if they're in one of those captives, generally they use what's called a replacement cost estimator. So what the rebuild for the home should be, it's typically about 30% lower on average than an independent market through like a travelers who updates their replacement cost guides as building codes and debris removal costs and all those things continue to change. So they should every year be making sure that that replacement cost is, you know, up to date and their deductibles are correct, things like that. The recommendations is in like a Sacramento area, a home should be insured for no less than $225 a square foot. Like we've just seen that the building costs with everything that's happened with the fires, it affects everything because all the contractors, all the supplies are being drowned into those fire areas and it's risen. So homes that are at like $150 a square foot, when they have a loss, they're really seeing that impact and not being able to rebuild. So, and then if you're like up in the fire foot at a minimum, and most people don't have enough insurance right now at all. So we recommend checking in at least once a year to just make sure that your rebuild is accurate. When people buy a home, usually what they do is change out the floors, they change the cabinets, they change the countertops, but they don't think to call their insurance agent to say we've made these increases, that increases the value, and then they can't rebuild what they just spent all that money and improvements on.
When you kind of answered what was going to be my second question of, you know, for somebody that maybe lives in Sacramento County, would they potentially see any impact or any change in their coverage or premium because of an event like Paradise? You kind of answered that with construction costs and building costs going up. Is there anything else that, or any other ways that that might impact them?
Yeah, so they're going to see over the next couple of years, there's a lot of rate fluctuation that's kind of stuck in the Department of Insurance right now. But what happens is insurance companies, for them to be able to raise the rates in the areas that they need to take it, they have to create what's called a base rate change across all homes. And so Sacramento might see a 3% increase to be able to offset some of those losses as opposed to a 15 to 25% in a higher fire danger area. But they'll see it in everything that they have, their home insurance, their car insurance. Everyone's going to see an uptick in their costs because of those fires. It's all interconnected. So the building supplies, the contractors, everything ends up costing more in the event of a loss. So eventually the loss trends go up and that rate follows.
Okay, interesting. And a last question. With a potential buyer looking in fire danger areas or higher fire danger areas, what's the best procedure, best practices for them to figure out? Obviously, they have to somewhat identify a neighborhood and a property that they might be interested in. But then what's the process to get you involved to figure out both if they can get insurance on that property and then what the cost is going to be, obviously, before they get too far into a transaction and, you know, they're going to close, maybe that's quadruple what they expected. What is the best process to do all that with you?
So with our highest producing real estate agents in the high fire areas, what we actually do is do a listing quote. So they're able to add what that cost is going to be into the MLS report. So everybody that's looking at that property knows this is approximately what it's going to be. And then if they're not working with a realtor who has that kind of relationship, because not all agents will go through that step. A lot of agents say, I'm not going to waste my time giving you a quote until I have a good representation of what the costs are going to be. So we will run those, and if you don't have somebody like that, then the recommendation is that any buyer who's going to look at a home should reach out to at least one independent broker and a captive. So State Farm, always call State Farm, because there's some areas that they'll take, and once a customer is in with State Farm, they're actually grandfathered in. They can't be canceled for wildfire. But Farmers has, very limited scope, and then they're immediately going to push somebody to a California FAIR plan. So there's two major fire scoring models. One is called an ISO fire line, which is what Farmers uses, and then the other is a CoreLogic. And it can be ineligible on our fire line, but a CoreLogic company can say that's completely eligible. So if they don't get in touch with an independent broker, like myself or Sky Insurance, agencies like that have access to those multiple companies, they can end up paying 3 to 4 times what they actually need to when purchasing that home. And a lot of buyers drop out, and then they find out later on, like, hey, that actually could have went through a standard, because they watched the market and they are like, well, how did they get that? And they call the realtors back, and the realtors call the new realtor, and they say, yeah, we found it through American Modern or whatever, and we're able to sell the home.
Okay. Well, and that actually brings up one more question. Can you touch on real quick, I guess, what the difference is between a direct cancellation or just a non-renewal? Because I've heard of both. How do those differ, and what situations do either of those apply?
So a direct cancellation is generally due to something with the home itself that they didn't like. Maybe there was missing railings, or the roof was decayed more than they could see at new business, things like that. A non-renewal says, we've made it past the first 60 days, but we're going to give you a chance to either fix something with the home, and then if you don't fix it, then we're going to non-renew you. Or it's just simply a company has changed their guidelines. In most cases right now, we're seeing with fire scoring models, and then they're doing mass cancellations, or they're doing another thing which is called a concentration of risk cancellation, which means you're still eligible for our program, but we have 50 eligible people within a 5-mile radius, and if this 5-mile radius went up, we'd suffer too much loss, so we're going to decrease that by 20% so that we stay profitable if this area catches on fire. So there's a lot of different moving parts with non-renewals and cancellations right now within California.
And quickly, with you said a captive agent being, if you're grandfathered in, are they still able to do a non-renewal?
So when I say so State Farm's the only one that's grandfathering, meaning once you're in there, they're not going to non-renew you for wildfire. USAA, to an extent, is also processing that same type of mentality. They're just not taking on new business, but they're keeping the people that are there. Now, like a Farmers or a AAA, they're also a captive agent. They're just doing mass cancellations. I'd say the majority of the people that we're finding coverage for have been with AAA or Farmers for the last 30, 40 years.
That's amazing. Well, that definitely helps. Okay, good to know.
So, go ahead.
Oh, I just had to unmute myself really quick. Go ahead and finish what you were going to say.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask him a question. I didn't know that.
Go for it. Yep.
So I definitely, we're trying to get a good grasp. We do a lot for realtors with what we call co-brand marketing. So if we see a refi boom come, we say this might be a great time, interest rates drop. Were you thinking about buying an investment home? If so, if you would send a customer over, we would say, reach out to Zach and see, what might be available in your market. And then we refer a lender partner, whatnot. So, outside of those type of co-brandings, what do you find from your insurance partners that provides the best benefit to you?
That's a good question. That's about it. That, and just being obviously a really good referral partner, providing good customer service, making sure that client is really happy and up to date, and they feel like they've been taken care of and appropriately protected. And because obviously any referral, no matter which direction it's going, is a reflection back on the person that's referring. So as long as our insurance partners are giving great customer service, educating our buyers appropriately, then that's really what we ask for, is just a reflection back on us. And secondly, we understand too that there's a lot of work and legwork that goes into a purchase transaction on your side. So we do try to get that insurance conversation happening really, really early in the process with buyers, even before they get into contract on a home. I've noticed a lot do tend to just go with whoever already has their auto insurance policy, or maybe their renter's insurance policy. So that's always an opportunity that we try to tee up and say, well, you really should at least get a second opinion and make sure that you have appropriate coverage. Maybe there's something that they haven't mentioned to you or they're not as familiar with about ownership of real estate. And then secondly, really try to get that information sent over to our insurance partners early in the transaction. So it's not a situation where we're funding tomorrow and all of a sudden we need an insurance policy and you have no idea that it's happening, and now you have to buy the policy in 10 minutes. And that doesn't help you at all either. So we understand it goes both ways. We try to help with that. Yeah, really just, we do try to tee those up early, suggest a second opinion. And I would say one of the biggest things, aside from that, just doing some co-marketing and co-lead generation, would be, just make us look good, and continue that top level of quality, because that reflects back on us.
So, in a normal world where we're not doing virtual open houses, do you find any value on having an insurance agent there with you during open houses or with your agents during open houses?
The couple times that we've done that, the response from buyers has been a little bit more of a sense of overwhelm and indifference. Like, we're not even thinking about that right now. We're just trying to get qualified and even find a house that we like. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So we try to make that connection and make that referral, like I said, really early in the process, and relay to them the importance of the right coverage and the right insurance policy. So we try to get you guys in communication early. But yeah, sometimes it seems to be a little bit overwhelming if it's too much too soon.
Did you freeze there, Aurora?
So
I think she froze.
So being that you're doing a lot in the Sacramento, oh, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you were frozen for a second, but you're good now.
Gotcha. I was going to say, being that you're doing a lot in the Sacramento area, are you learning, or is any insurance agents talk to you about all the new private flood options that are available that are going out there? So is where FEMA might be 5,000, there's private flood options that are now available for loans at like 17 that could help make that home happen?
We've touched on that a little bit, but I haven't actually ended up in a specific situation where we've had to dig too deep into that. But that would be a great opportunity to do maybe a Zoom call in the future, or by that time, maybe even a face-to-face on-location interview, and actually discuss that, because that's something I'm not super familiar with. Be a great opportunity to get that out to our clients in the Sacramento area, share that with the other agents in our office. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna wrap us for now, but sounds like maybe we can do another one of these down the road. Okay, so we've been ending these with just what we are calling a quick six, just kind of a quick little behind the scenes of what it's like during this COVID-19 time. Not really what it's like, but just what's on your mind, what's on the forefront of your mind. So I didn't prep you guys with these questions, but they'll probably be insightful into who you are. So
like trivia.
just It kind of, but not really that in-depth or serious at all. But you can pop in, whoever's got an answer first. I'm just going to rapid fire them at you. But first one is, tell me what you've been binge watching. What is the Netflix best on your screen right now, recently watching?
It's some stupid show called Under the Dome. I don't even know when it ever came out, but like these aliens put a dome over a city and they're trying to figure out a way to get out. It's silly.
Go ahead, Zach.
I haven't actually been watching too much. I've been working on, I know, I've been working on other stuff. Kind of restarted Breaking Bad. None of the new shows or current shows really caught my attention at all. So just kind of here and there when I have a few minutes, I'll go back and watch an old classic.
All right, making us look bad. That's fine. It's cool. All right, so everybody's thinking about where they want to go when this is over. So are you a beach or a mountains person or something else? What are you dreaming about?
Definitely tropical for me.
I actually was supposed to go on a trip to Maui, or I mean not Maui, but the Big Island at the first part of May for a carrier trip, and they postponed it. So I have two now trips that are going to happen in September. One is to Norway, and then right after Norway, I'll come back and immediately leave to the Big Island. So that's
I'm jealous.
My head goes on.
That's probably keeping you alive right now, dreaming of those. That's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Rum.
Okay.
Rum. That's all I can think about. Rum on a beach.
That's awesome. All right, what restaurant are you excited to eat out at first? Not to carry in, but eat out, sit down at, ambiance.
That's tough. So many. Probably Chef's Table.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Dad's Kitchen.
Or The Range.
The Range, and I heard Dad's Kitchen from Aurora. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Zach, maybe if you're not watching TV, then you can answer this one. What is your favorite form of exercise right now? And you can say none if you're not.
Right now it's been YouTube yoga.
Yes.
It's yeah, easy, simple. Well, it's not easy. It's easy to do it. It's not easy. Yeah, that's about it.
I've been watching, it's some country line dance, like exercise workout thing. So it's been kind of like going out and cutting loose, but still not turning into, 50 pounds heavier by the end of this.
That's awesome.
Seriously.
That sounds
so creative.
Fun.
I love it. Okay, the worst household chore right now. Worst thing you're having to do in your house.
Pulling all the weeds. Springtime.
Yeah, that's true. It's growing quick.
Well, I have my grandkids a lot right now, so the constant sweeping and mopping up orange juice spills and all of that, I feel like I've swept literally 50 times a day since they've been with me. So definitely not my favorite.
That's awesome. I don't have grandkids, but I sweep up probably an entire box of Cheerios off the floor almost every day. So that's fun. Okay, last one. What's the last book that you read or listened to if you're an audio person? And if it was 20 years ago, that's okay too.
So this is the one I'm reading right now. It's called Skin in the Game.
Yeah, cool.
Let's see. I actually have two audiobooks going right now. One is Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt, and the other is The Amazing Development of Men by Allison Armstrong. So,
Cool.
yeah, two totally different
Awesome.
ends of the spectrum.
That's cool. I like it. All right. Well, so I said that we would wrap up. I prepped you guys with this question, but just because I think it's helpful for everyone right now in our own kind of little corners of the world to hear how everyone else is surviving and thriving out there. What is one thing that is quote unquote saving your life right now, helping you stay sane or healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally? What's saving your life in these shelter in place times?
I actually made a list of little things that needed to be done around the house and organization, or little things I've been putting off. So just making sure to get some of those done still kind of gives me a sense of progress, and I'm moving forward and something's getting done and I still have a purpose, even though business has slowed down a little bit. So yeah, just that, and kind of mentally giving myself some grace to relax and maybe not be as active as usual. So.
I'd say mine, I do painting, so I do a bunch of abstract painting. So I've done, I mean, at this point, I'm probably going to have like a little opening for friends. I've done 40 canvases since this thing has started. So it's definitely like when all that nervous energy, I just pull out the paints and just start creating.
That's awesome. I love that. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you taking the time. It's been fun to get a little window into your worlds, and just keep staying positive and busy. And I look forward to actually being able to see people in person again soon. So I'm gonna see here.
And thanks for putting